How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Cars Unlocked video. Today we're doing something a little different. A little different. I'm here with my videographer, Samuel Mealy, and we are gonna just discuss with you how we do our walk around videos. So those of you who are in car sales can kind of get an idea of how we do it. And maybe you're just curious about how we film and shoot the video. So we got Sam on as a special guest. What's going on, brother?
You know, it's my YouTube channel. I feel really, important today, and
Hey,
I think it's exciting.
we appreciate you. Sam's a big driving force from my success, and that actually puts us right into where I wanted to start with the explanation. As a car sales associate filming walkarounds, you've obviously, when I met you, you provided me with a lot of equipment and tools to make effective video production. But for those of you who are just starting out, I started out with nothing. I started out using my phone to film the videos.
Talk about your most viral video, the one that you made all your money from.
Yeah, the most viral video I filmed on I think it was on my GoPro. I filmed. There was a video of
It was worse than iPhone.
It was on my sister's trailer. So I want to make it clear that you guys don't need equipment or huge setups to make an effective video. As long as the information is informative and provides value for your customers, it will be successful. And that's the main thing, is providing value for your customers, and that will help you reach like a global audience. I've talked about that a lot, but I started out just filming videos on my phone, and I had a GoPro on a tripod, and I would put the tripod at one angle of the car, press record, go talk about it, and then I would go move the tripod to another angle, and I would do that 4 or 5 times. It looked a little silly doing it, but when I pieced it all together,
it didn't look too bad.
Yeah,
what I will say is, one of the most impressive parts is we've been working together for like over a year now, and we haven't missed more than like maybe 12 Tuesdays. Like, we film every single Tuesday morning, pretty well like assumed at this point. And I think what's crucial is that, even if it's not the highest quality stuff, that some weeks we can't make because we don't have cars, or we don't have ideas, or some maybe happen with the camera or whatever, like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're still gonna go out and find something to film something, because it's more important that you're consistent than you giving a movie production style video every single week, twice a week.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously, the ones that are perfect do get a tad bit better results, but the ones that are poo-poo also get good results, we've seen. It's just a matter of finding value. Last week, it was raining, so we went to an undergarage garage. You want to adapt. So how it currently states, summer's over, so it's going to get more difficult to film videos, especially when the snow comes. But I just wanted to explain our process from start to finish of how we film a video, and having you here because you definitely do. Sam's been doing all the editing and has taken a lot of work off my plate. Once my channel kind of became profitable and I was able to hire someone, it's definitely helped me with providing me with more time to enjoy life and accomplish other things, and obviously sell cars. So let's start with, like, first thing what we do. We meet up. Usually we have a scheduled once a week meetup for us to batch shoot our content where we film the videos. First thing we do is I will do some preliminary research on what cars I want to film. I'll do the specs and make sure I have all the specs properly written down or saved in my phone, so that I know all the specs of the cars, and do a little preliminary research, and then we'll grab the cars and go to like a location. And obviously, like, location is important, right?
Yeah, it's huge. And one of the things I will say is, you kind of skimmed over it, but like, you doing that pre-prep, most people wouldn't do that when they are as consistent as what we're doing, because they just get tired. They would just assume, oh, okay, like, we'll find something to film. And then the quality's not, like, the videos aren't watchable. You got to still think, like, who's going to watch these videos? It's consistency, and who's going to watch the videos. And realistically, you're the most prepped person before any shoot, and you come in, you don't have word by word what you want to say, you just go. And when you press record, stuff just comes out of your mouth, and it makes sense because you've done your preliminary information on that specific car or make, whatever it may be.
Yeah, if you go to film a car video and you don't know what you're talking about, or if you don't know anything about the car,
You look like an idiot.
It seems kind of off, and like the audience can tell through the videos, and like that's why I find it the most difficult when we travel to like the other dealerships the odd time, because I'm not an expert on those cars. So you really have to do research. But if you're selling the cars, you should already have a good idea of the specs and stuff like that. But having it written down, and like, it's that thing, right? Prepare your work your plans. So
yeah, well, you're always, that's the thing, is like you're always prepared, and it takes a load off my plate, because sometimes clients will assume that we come with everything prepared. Well, no, because we don't know exactly what you want. And now we've gotten to a point where it's like, okay, like, film the front, film the side. Oh, let's try to change it up. We'll do this, we'll do that. It's almost like smooth as butter now, where it's pretty easy to go and just say, okay, Tuesday we'll film this, and then we figure it out. And the important thing is, like what happened last week when it was raining, most people would just say, call it. They would just call it. They wouldn't even do it. Whereas we're like, okay, listen, like, we booked off this Tuesday morning. We're not gonna waste our time. We're gonna go and get stuff done, wherever it may be, whatever video. Like even today, if we didn't have a specific idea, we made sure that we did something to be, productive with our time.
And here we are, right? So yeah, definitely prepare. So yeah, I do my preliminary research, then we find a location, generally somewhere we like to shoot that's quiet, that's secluded. We have a few spots locally that we go to now, but that's very important. I found when I was filming at the dealerships, or when I would film like right in front of the dealership, there was just too many distractions. Other people would come try to like photobomb your shots. People would come and they'd start like chirping you and things like that, jokingly and stuff, and it's just doesn't make for the most effective shoot. So and also you don't want cars zipping by in your videos affecting your audio and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
that's a big one.
I've learned this as I've gone on. If you guys look back at like our early videos, you can find some bad ones where the audio is really poor and things like that. But luckily I have you behind the camera now to check all the audio. But that's the main thing about the location, is having it secluded where there's not a lot of background noise. And then what do we start with? We usually,
we'll do, typically we'll say, okay, so we want to film this Nissan or an Altima or whatever. And then you'll pull out the car, we'll find a spot, we'll get you mic'd up, I'll get my camera settings, balance the gimbal, and then we'll start with the talking clips. We find that honestly, you're quicker with the talking clips than we are with the B-roll. So we'll do the talking clips, you talk about the front, you talk about specific parts of the car that you want to make sure that people know.
Yep.
I mean, that's all done predetermined in your research. I just come prepared to film. When I film, I then, after filming you, we film B-roll of the entire car. We also film like specific points that we want to make sure people understand. Oh, like, this close-up is going to show what he's talking about. So I'm in my head thinking, okay, he brought this up. Now I'm going to showcase this in the video.
Yeah, we do all the exterior. First we do exterior walk around, and then we go on to the inside. Usually we talk about the power plan, and then we end with a test drive. But I like how, we film all the talking parts first, so that when Sam is doing his B-roll after, we do all the B-roll after, and B-roll is like all the shots you see, the close-ups of the car. He knows what shots to film and what B-roll to get because we've talked about it. So anything I talk about, you know to do that. And then like, what are you filming on? Just
so we film all of Chris's videos now. We film on a Sony a7S III with an RS2 gimbal, and sometimes we'll use like the F2BTs, like the external audio recorders, or we'll just use the Rode Wireless Go's. Quite honestly, if you were looking to do something on a budget, I'll say this is, get your buddy or whoever, like that's what you used to do. You grab the girl from the dealership, like, hey, can you help? And then she got a little bit busy. It was just hard to coordinate that, so that's why you hired somebody. But get your buddy, get the DJI iPhone gimbal, and then get your iPhone, put it on 4K 60. Look up how to do that. and then connect your Rode Wireless Go. You can just get the one mic. It's like $200 to get the mic. Then with the DJI gimbal, it's like $350, all combined. And then you get great audio, iPhone 4K quality, and you've got a gimbal, so you can record like cool B-roll. Now it's just the technique that you have to get down. So you've got enough equipment to get a pretty solid video. I mean, we were even talking about this. Sometimes it is demotivating, you know, when we'll spend like a lot of time on a certain video, and then we'll see like another video get 7 million views, and it's just a guy walking around with his iPhone.
Yeah, yeah.
So it goes to show like you don't need the highest quality. I think like from what you've said, I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, why Chris hired us was to make sure that he doesn't have to worry about posting, you know, every Saturday and every Tuesday. He doesn't have to make sure he has to, you know, bring his camera. He might forget gear or whatever. So like that's on us, and that responsibility's passed off.
Yeah, that's why I love you. Sam knows everything about the cameras, the microphones. He's definitely given me a lot of expertise. You have given me a lot of expertise on those technical aspects that I was just trying to learn as I went. But let's talk about like post-production. So you mentioned you take a lot. I used to spend all my nights, like an hour or two every single night, editing videos, and that's why I'm so happy that I was able to hire you.
I mean, you got your nights back.
Yeah, now I still am busy at night doing other things.
With other things. Like any hard worker is gonna find a way to keep busy.
But yeah, so after we film and shoot the video, generally we always make sure we take a thumbnail. Thumbnail is important. We do the B-roll, we do the thumbnail, and then if we have another car to film, we start over. But generally that's our shoot, right? Exterior, interior, under the hood, test drive, B-roll, thumbnail, and then
post-production. That's literally
moves into the editing stage where your team edits it.
Typically, in terms of like editing time and stuff like that, I mean, we've got it pretty well down to a science now with Chris. When it comes down to like if we were to shoot like an Altima or a Pathfinder, you know, Kevin behind the computer does a really good job at just piecing that together. And you know, me and Chris have definitely adapted the way that we've edited videos. Like I remember before we used to just do like start with the outside, then go to the inside, then do the test drive. Now we're trying our best to like break it up and change things and pivot. And there's always going to be learning, you know, parts.
You learn with every video. Our first shoot took us like 4 hours to film one.
I think that's important for us to say. Yeah, it's our first shoot
we did took forever because we were learning how we were working with each other, and
it takes that level of patience, right?
Yeah.
I remember saying to Chris, you know, I just can't wait till we get this down to like an hour. Actually, I think we said like 2 hours. And now, Chris, I mean, we can film a video if we really wanted to punch it out. 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, now we can move pretty fast because we've done it so many times.
And it's not like it's bad quality when we do that. You know, obviously when we spend more time, it's higher quality. But when it comes to the post-production stuff, you know, we'll look to add like lower thirds to make it a little bit more engaging. So, you know, about the, like, who is Chris? We'll talk about, you know, the engine specs, the car specs, the price, the MSRP, all of that kind of stuff we'll put in text throughout the video. Typically a rule of thumb is, you know, shout out to Mr. Beast for kind of giving this away, this idea, but you know, we try to make it so every like 5 to 10 seconds, something has to happen. In fact, even 10 seconds is too long. So we really aim for that 5-6 second mark for like, even if it's just a punch in or a cut or a transition or B-roll shows up or whatever it may be, you need to keep the videos engaging. Otherwise, people are just gonna shut it off. And especially when you have the viewership that you do, you have enough analytics to know what was a good video and what wasn't a good video.
Oh, for sure. I can know within like the first 3 hours of posting a video if it's going to stay in that like 500 to 1,000 range, or if it's going to get in between the 1,000 to 10,000.
Yeah, that's what I typically find.
We can literally see right away if a video is going to pop or not. But yeah, then once you're done the post-production, then obviously we upload it to YouTube. I do the title, the thumbnail, the descriptions, and the hashtags, and then we're ready to post for you guys. So.
And that's, we've kind of, it started out as like, you know, would I do the thumbnails? And then we kind of realized, well, Chris is better at doing the thumbnails. And then, You know, now for the videos, Chris told us he wants something a little bit more engaging, like let's keep everything at 5 seconds. It wasn't us that came up with that idea. He took the initiative to like research and tell us like, hey, like I want to keep these videos engaging as possible. Let's change something every 5 seconds. So we tried our best to start implementing that. I hope that we do it enough.
Oh yeah, I think you guys should let us know in the comments what you want to see. Yeah, like what you want to see done differently. If there's a different views of the cars or shots you guys want to get of the cars, let us know. Like we're open to try new things. And obviously if one person is commenting that they want it, that's one thing I've learned from this. If one person is commenting that want it, there's probably another 50 to 100 people that do want whatever they're commenting, yeah, but just didn't comment that. So comment what you guys want to see. Right now we're just kind of giving you guys a behind the scenes, but I think that's pretty much a quick little run through of how we shoot and edit a video. So again, like Sam provides all the production quality. I really appreciate you filming with me.
Well, you make it easy, so.
You guys can check out his stuff. It's at VisionLuxx is the name of his business. So he's trying to grow the business. So if you guys can jump on to his Instagram and his YouTubes, definitely make sure you guys check that out. But if you're in car sales and you want to start like a car content channel or a channel about you selling cars, you don't need all this. Like I said at the beginning, that's what the lesson I want you guys to take away from this. All you really need is your cell phone to get started, and every single video you will get better, and eventually you'll grow. And guys, I've been doing this for like, I started filming my car walkarounds in like 2016, and like I've been doing it for so long.
Viral videos that are like 4 or 5 years old.
I don't want you guys to think that, hey, oh, if I want to start a YouTube channel, I need to go buy a gimbal. I need to go buy a $1,500 camera. Oh, I got to go buy a $1,400 lens, and then I need the $500 microphones. You don't. You really just need to add value for your customers, and the people will see the content elsewhere.
And test yourself first. Like, if you're gonna go spend all this money, you better go and record. If you're not, because a lot of people, you see it, right? They want to start YouTube channels and then they don't stay consistent with it. Test yourself. Just grab your iPhone, force yourself to go 3 months straight, once a week of posting, and then you can justify go spending that $1,000, $2,000 on the camera gear that you so want. But realistically, if you're not even testing out if you're gonna do it or not consistently, there's no point spending as much money as you would on this gear. Like if Chris comes to me and says, hey Sam, I wanna buy a camera, I'll recommend him stuff because I know that he's gonna stay consistent with whatever he's gonna use that for. But the vice versa side is like, if we weren't filming together at all and he came to me and wanted a camera, I wouldn't put in as much care to recommend a proper camera to him because I know he won't use it and I don't wanna waste his money, right? Yeah. So you have to test if the idea is viable first, and if you're gonna stay consistent with it, with your iPhone or whatever that may be.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Make sure if you guys are gonna spend the money, you definitely are prepared to use it and get your money's worth. So we hope you guys like this kind of sit down. I wanted to introduce you guys to Sam. So thank you everybody for your support on the channel. And definitely when you're watching the videos, now you know who's keeping that camera steady. So I appreciate it, brother, and show your appreciation and love for Sammy there. And we'll see you guys in the next video.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Cheers.